right. What is up, Wheelers? You're listening to the Light Bars and Lockers podcast, the show where we answer your Jeep questions, talk about badass builds, and discuss ways to beef up your ride. I'm Paul from JeepBeef, and with me, as always, we've got Ryan from Combat Offroad, and please welcome our special guest, Mike Miller from Offroad Adventures. What's going on, guys?
Welcome,
guys. Of course, if you're just tuning in, again, have any questions that the guys can answer, feel free to post them up. Question about builds, just about anything. We're here. We're here to entertain. We have actually a good question that came in through the text line.
Oh,
if I could remember what the text number was, I would tell you all to jump on it. But
you forgot last week too.
To that. I know. I forgot last week.
Can we do the weather channel thing that goes along the bottom?
Yeah, you know what? Is it up here? Yeah,
I don't know. I thought we saw that once, and then I don't know.
I think we did, and I deleted it, but that's okay.
Oh, really?
I know, right? But it's a good question. Yeah, so I'll try to find it by the end of the show. We'll post it up. But of course, if you have questions, leave a comment here. If you're watching after the fact, just leave a comment. You can email podcast@jeepbeef.com or text us. So.
To any number.
James wants to know if 2-inch lift is enough for Mopar. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that I can answer that guy.
Is 2-inch lift enough for Mopar?
I suppose it depends on what size wheels you're looking to run, and if you have a JL. Tell us more. Tell us more. James.
Yeah, we need more info. I don't understand the question really. Like,
happy to help.
You want Mopar to offer more kits? Was that the question?
Oh, that could be enough for a 35-inch tire or a 37-inch tire.
You can go 37 if you got a JL Rubicon.
You could.
I would rather Combat's 2-inch lift on there though.
Oh, me too.
Well, you know, there's that. Hey, I happen to be running that myself.
Right. So. Yeah, it looks pretty good. And then I got it on the Gladiator. So no bias here, but
yeah, right. No bias at all. But it's tough as nails. So
there's that. It is. It's pretty beefy.
Well, let's okay, here we go. 35-inch tires, not looking to rock crawl. Assuming you have a JL, James, you're good to go.
Yeah. Right? Well, even if you wanted, you could do 2-inch and 35s on a JK. If you wanted a little more space, if you were going to go on trails and stuff like that, and you just want that smaller kit, you can get like a Highline fender. You know what I mean? Just a different flat fender. You know what I mean? So you could do that, or you could skip the 2-inch, do 3.5, and run 35s with lots of space. So it's kind of up to you. But if you already have the Mopar kit or is a good deal, this, that, and the other, you can definitely get 35s on JK or JL. If you feel like you're rubbing fenders, just go to a flat fender. And you can rub those fenders quite a bit before you really toast them. So you might just be perfect for you.
Yeah, if he's not looking to rock crawl or anything, it'll be.
Yeah, if it's mild articulation, you go through a trail. You go on one-on-one trail or just something nice and scenic. You definitely get to the beach and the grocery store and the parking lot and work and all that fun stuff with the 2-inch and 35s. And then just depends on the gear ratio too. Like we kind of have a bit of an getting the weeds a little bit, but if you know the gear ratio. If you don't know it, then take your VIN number, call parts at the car dealer, any car dealer you want, and ask them what gear ratio is in your differential, and then you can shoot us back, and I can let you know if the tire is going to work out well with the gear ratio you have or not. So preferably, hopefully, if you had 373s, you'd be game on for 35s. You wouldn't have to worry about re-gear.
All right, cool. Good. All right. Well, James, if you have more information, feel free to post it up. If anyone else has a question, feel free to post it up. We'll get to it in a minute. But until we do that, and while I try to find that one that came in through the text line, because, I copied and pasted it, and I have no idea what I did with it. Mike Miller from Offroad Adventures. Listen, tell us a little bit about you for the people tuning in. Who are you? What do you do? And why are you on my podcast? No, just kidding.
My name is Mike.
No, tell us about it.
I like long walks on the beach. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, you do? I saw the Facebook photos. There was some beach walking.
There was, and it had the epic wind blowing the goatee to the side. It was awesome.
I thought you gelled that, like something about Mary where she puts the sperm in her hair.
That was about 30 bucks.
I thought it was some sperm in your beard. Sorry.
There you go.
I couldn't pick the wind out of the picture. I didn't know what was that.
TMI.
It's a good movie.
Oh man, going down the rabbit hole there. No,
there you go. Yeah.
Something about me is, of course, I'm on RA Offroad Adventures, raoffroad.com, and I have an off-roading 101 school here in Georgia. It is the first one in Georgia. There's not any established schools really in the southeast of the United States. Not like, you got a lot out in California and out around Utah, having, some out there, but in the southeast, there's just really not a lot of them. And so, I started one because I'm an ambassador and I'm friends with a off-road park here. It's called Iron Mountain Resort, Iron Mountain Park, and that's my playground. And it's 4,300 acres. We have 180 miles of trails out there. It's a great place. And every time I go off-road, and I see a lot of new people getting into the hobby, a lot of new people wanting to get into Jeeps, and they get out there and get in trouble. And Ryan's seen a little bit of it, and Paul, we need to get you down here to see a little bit of it. But we, in Georgia, in the South, we have that red clay, it's that thick red mud.
Cool. And except painful.
Do what?
It's cool. It looks super cool, but man, is that stuff's falling off my Jeep still from 2019.
It gets in the crevices, and
oh my god,
dude. But yeah, and I would see people get out there and they just, they're really into the hobby, but I don't want to come across to sound cross or rude or nothing. They just don't have the skills or something. Then they get themselves in trouble. And I find them in a mud hole and they're buried up over their hood. And I've seen them blowing engines and blow transmissions. And, I see them flip and get hurt out there. And it's, and
you're saying it's cheaper to go to the 101 school than to fix any of those things, right?
Oh yeah. It's cheaper to go to some kind of training. It's like, it's the same thing. If you want to ride a motorcycle, right, and you've never ridden a motorcycle, you go take a motorcycle class before you get on the street with it, right?
It's true. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of people think, if I go buy a Jeep and I can just throw it in 4-wheel drive and go, and then I'm good to go. But there's really a lot more to the basics than that. And sure, you can go hit some Forest Service roads or fire roads or whatever it is and throw it in 4-wheel high and go have a blast. You're not going to come across anything hard, but as you start diving into it, you kind of need some training. And I saw the need for it. And so, I filled it. And our whole goal for that, it's an all-day thing. And our whole goal big thing is to give them confidence in themselves on what they can do off-road and confidence in their vehicle. Because if you're not confident and don't know what your rig can do, then you'll either come across an obstacle or you'll turn around or you'll get yourself in trouble. And so, I want to create an experience. And it's like I tell people, it's more than just a class. It's an all day experience. We're out there all day and we go through classroom fundamentals and obstacles in the morning. And then we spend the rest of the afternoon riding around the park and implementing what they learned and, guided trail rides. And, they have a blast, and there's some amazing views, and I absolutely love it. I've been off-roading since I was 16 through various vehicles, beater 4-wheel drive Wranglers and FJ Cruisers and Xterras and Fronteras, you name it, it's 4-wheel drive. I wanted to drive it. And so that's what I love doing. So I figured, you know what? Let's go for it, dude.
Yeah, right on. No, that's awesome.
So on a less dramatic, what do you guys do for lunches?
Do what?
What do you guys do for lunch?
Ryan's immediate question. Wait a sec. What are you doing for lunch?
What do you guys eat?
They do have food trucks usually on site on the park. So they can either, if they want a hot meal or something from the food truck, they can do it. A lot of weekends we have the taco food truck up there, which is awesome. And but I always tell people, pack a lunch if you want to pack a lunch from home, or there's a food truck option, and we give them that option. I always make sure that I have plenty of water and snacks and stuff like that. I usually go buy a couple cases of Cliff Bars and things like that. That if people get back there and I have a case of water, I want to make sure my people are taken care of when they take the class. So.
Nice.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Real quick, shout out to Rusty. Rusty says he has he's got Mad Max stuff. So right now he's got a FC 150 build on 1 tons with 38s and an LS motor. Nice job. That sounds pretty badass, to be honest.
So no 101s for Rusty. Then.
No 101s for Rusty. No,
he's faster. He's at the 201s too.
I was going to say
301s even. Well, 38s are probably 201s. Need some 40s for the 301s.
And real quick, James is saying that he's just saying that okay, so Mopar doesn't have anything bigger. He wanted a 3.5. So I think he was just asking, like he said.
Is there a reason why you want Mopar there, James? Because it's not fabulous and it's overpriced.
Yeah,
there's
but you get that options. Killer box though. I mean,
yeah, the box is good.
The box is pretty good.
You could just get some pallets and then just burn in Jeep logo and put it in your parking wherever you want to put it, bedroom, living room. Don't worry about it. I don't know. Terraflex has got some really good options. I like rock crawler stuff, but
I was gonna say
inventory is such a pain.
He says Jeep warranty, and that's what I figured. Because I honestly, James, I did the same thing. I bought the JL. I thought, you know what? Maybe I'll just get. And I think it was before we were on the air, but we were just talking, and Ryan had said, you know, a lot of people go into the dealership, they just want it off the lot. They want the warranty. They want whatever. Yeah. Tons of people like that, and I think that's why a lot of people go Mopar, right?
Well, they can't deny you a warranty anyway. So if you change your shocks out, sure, the Mopar is not going to warranty like the TerraFlex shock. You're going to have the TerraFlex shock warranty, but they can't like omit the warranty of your transmission based on a TerraFlex, and especially in the United States. So if you're in the United States, there's lots of like what do you call that?
Advocates.
No, court cases that have been proven.
Like
precedents about all that. So you're good to go. Someone might give you a hard time, and it's a Chrysler warranty. So if you're having a challenge with a service manager, just go to a different dealer.
Yeah, there's a couple Jeep dealers down here. Because Jeep is so big in Georgia and the Southeast. There's a couple Jeep dealers down here that if you wanted a TerraFlex lift, they'll sell you a TerraFlex lift and throw it on there for you, and they'll actually warranty it.
100%. We do that. We like for Offroad Addiction, we build all the new car dealers. We don't use any Mopar parts unless somebody wanted it. I mean, all their stuff's aftermarket. The prices are better, and you can put it right in your payment plan, and it covers all the warranty. And then, except for, like I said, like whatever you change, if we change a coil spring out, you're not going to get a factory Mopar coil spring warranty, but we're going to get the manufacturer warranty through the aftermarket, right? And there's all kinds of recourses with different companies. If you blew up a tranny and some reason Chrysler didn't want to warranty it, they're going to have certain manufacturers that will go that extra mile to put you with the paperwork to cover that warranty. You know what I mean? So there's lots of other avenues. I wouldn't get bottlenecked in them just pushing that down your throat.
Yeah, and if you're in Ocala, Florida, James, I kind of know that type of terrain. You're going to be going through more mud bogging and sand than anything. You're not going to be hitting a lot of trails, or a lot of rock crawling. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I think he even may have said it.
Yeah, he said no rock crawling.
Yeah.
I just go with 3.5. Just get a nice kit.
Yeah.
And just make sure you get installed by somebody that's reputable or licensed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then just keep all that documentation, right? So then no one can really turn you away.
I see one question here. It just says Facebook user. I don't see the name.
I was gonna ask you that question next, Mike, because I know I think I know Ryan's answer to it, but is this the one? We want to know what's the best first modification to make, assuming it's a stock Jeep. I was gonna ask you, so Mike, tell us your opinion. What's the best first?
Oh, pressure's on. Do you know what you're talking about, Mike, or not?
This is what
the light bar, obviously.
This is what I tell all my students is first a good tire and a winch and a winch bumper. Because if you don't have good tires, on your Jeep, and you're just rolling out and you're wanting to do off-roading and you're rolling out with stock Jeep tires, that you're going to be real limited on what you can do, especially in Georgia terrain. If you get a little bit of mud or a little bit of rain on this red clay, it gets slick. And if you don't have at minimum a good all-terrain tire, then you can have all the lifts and everything else in your vehicle all day long, and you're not going to go anywhere. You're just going to sit there. I guess it's the equivalent of driving in snow and ice up there. And
summer, Mike, there's no fucking ice up here right now.
Well, not right now. I mean, you guys get it a hell of a lot more than what we do.
I don't know, man. It's the weather's kind of crazy, man.
It was 36, like it was like 98 degrees here, and you're like, I'm freezing in my house.
It was like 67.
Oh my god!
Yeah. It never drops below. It drops below freezing maybe 2 or 3 days a year here.
No, we got 300 days a year. It's freezing. That's why I'm moving. I'm having enough. I don't like it.
I say, tires, and depending on the size of tires, you want to go, you'll probably have to have a lift with that, like we were just talking about.
Yeah, lift rims, tires kind of goes together for sure.
And a good winch. Don't cheap out on that, because I always have that rule that I tell people never go off-roading alone, but
that's when you want to winch. Yeah, don't go off-roading alone. It's a great
move. That's a hard rule, because there's times where you just want to go to the woods and you want to go off-roading and you can't find somebody, and you're going to do it anyway. And if you don't have good recovery gear and
that's it,
you're spending the night, or you're screwed and you're stuck out in the middle of somewhere, and now you're put yourself in a possible survival situation. So
for sure.
Yeah, totally.
And we see that a lot. Actually, I see that a lot on Facebook where people are like, "Oh shit," like I'm
Yeah.
stuck, or I was just out like in a buddy's field or whatever. That's the thing about the Jeep community, though. You have 50 people who are like, "What a dumbass! I'm on my way." Like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
coming to get you, yeah, but don't do it.
So maybe cell phone reception is the most important thing.
Yeah, well, that's
Maybe a satellite phone.
Yeah. I mean, you could always walk to a high ridge and see if you get cell phone or if you want
post on
crazy.
Hey, I'm stuck.
You want to get crazy, get your ham radio license and
right.
You got a portable antenna and project somebody 100 miles away and say, "Come get me."
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
That'd be a tough one. I don't know if
I think the same user, he wants to know cable or rope winch.
Oh, rope.
Rope.
You want a synthetic line. Yeah, and then you want to cover for it so it doesn't get like UV eaten to death. Yeah. And then just for like when it shears, the cable shears, it picks up speed. When a rope shears, it drops to dead falls, right? So I mean, there's lots of fun recovery stuff, but yeah, I mean, even in the short of it, depending on you for money and stuff, or what you want to invest, like recovery gear first for sure. If in low budget stuff,
yeah,
and then easy stuff like even like if you did have all-terrain tires, like basic tires, and you aired them down, you'd be surprised how far you would get.
Yeah.
But I mean, it really depends on you. And another great second, always recovery gear, recovery points. Winch is excellent. You do definitely need a bumper to house it, so it could get expensive. And lift rims, tires together are the big purchase too, right? So really depends on you and your budget. But I would do a synthetic line for sure. Winches for a Jeep, nothing less than 8,000 pounds. 9,500 is kind of the standard for a Jeep, and then you're good to go.
And would you recommend Warren, both of you guys, or do you have another one that you've had?
I mean, I've run a lot of them. They work pretty good, but I mean, the Warren one's just is Warren. You know what I mean? If I had to choose, that would where I put my money.
Yeah.
Sure.
If budget wasn't an issue, Warren all day long. But if someone was budget conscious and they had to go with something else, I would say Smittybilt would be my second choice on that.
Nice. Okay. I was gonna say I really like the Smittybilt.
Yeah.
They're affordable. They look great.
Yeah.
But it's always that toss up. It's like, the extra couple $100 to make sure that it works when you need it.
Yeah.
Because you depending on how often you use it, you may only use it like a couple times a year.
Yeah.
And when you go to use it, if it doesn't work, well, then you just you have an anchor.
Yeah, you're gonna want to make sure it works like before you go, and then I would keep it dry, keep it out of the elements, like buy the cover for the $40. You know what I mean? You're gonna spend $600-800 on a winch or more, just toss in for the cover. You know what I mean? And then just make sure if it does get wet, take the cover off, dry it out. And then once a year at least, run the line out, make sure that it's all good, and put it back together. You can check all the contacts and stuff, and just make sure nothing's corroded. Anytime you add things to a vehicle, there's going to be additional maintenance. So just keep that in mind for sure.
Good point. Okay, cool. Well, to transition back, two things. One, I keep meaning to say, our man Tim, our third guy, TMR Tim.
Where is TMR Tim? I texted him earlier.
Yeah, he has for those tuning in that don't know, he has the TMR race series that he runs every year. So between organizing all the events and working on his own car and racing, he's pretty busy this time of year. So he will be joining us back again in the fall, but it gives us the opportunity to meet with a fine gentleman like Mr. Miller here. And going into that, Mike, tell me about the 101s. And again, for those of you that are just maybe tuning in, Mike has an event series, if you will, of 101s where people who are new to off-roading, whether they've had a Jeep for years or they just got one and they're now interested in off-roading, Mike runs these 101 events. Tell us what does the day in the life of the 101 look like?
Well, day in life of the 101 looks like is first you show up at the parking course, we get you checked in, and then we spend about an hour in the morning time of classroom fundamentals, just kind of going over, what is four-wheel drive, what are lockers, what are sway bars, what are some different techniques if you come across, rocks, if you come across logs, if you come across mud, how does everything work? What is it, when you engage your lockers, what does it do to your tires? And I like to kind of go over those things. I don't go too crazy with it, but before I get them out on the trails and out on our obstacle course that we have built out, I want them to have some basic understanding, some basic knowledge of what their vehicle works at. And the reason I do that is I get a lot of people that they'll show up to the course and they won't even know how to put it in 4-wheel drive. They've never had a 4-wheel drive vehicle before. They really want to get into the hobby. And so, yes, that's my job to introduce them in the right way to where they're comfortable. You can go to Jeep clubs and learn, and you can get out there on your own and learn, but sometimes that can be intimidating. It can be very costly. And I want to provide them on a comfortable environment to where it's focused on the new Jeeper and it's focused on them. So they're not in a situation to where they're nervous about asking a question or, don't want to stand out as being the new person, because you know what? Everybody in that class is new as far as I'm concerned when they're there. But when you first start out in the morning, because I could go ramble off big time, but when you first start out in the morning, it's about an hour's worth of classroom. We have a building being built out now. So right now it's been outside, but in a month or two, it's going to be inside, and we're going to have, screens up, TV monitors and everything. And so we'll have video examples and PowerPoint to go through. And then after that, we take a break, go to the bathroom, and then we get on the backside of the park. And the park that we teach at is Iron Mountain Off-Road Park in North Georgia and Dahlonega, Georgia. I'm good friends with the owner, and he was gracious enough to let me use his park to teach off of. And so we got 4,300 acres there and 180 miles of trails with various from easy stuff to hard stuff. So it's a perfect spot to teach on, be it private land. And I've gone and built little mini obstacle course. It's good for beginners, log crawl, confidence hill, certain mud holes and stuff like that. So after the classroom, when we break, we get back on the back side of the obstacle course and we spend a couple hours back there. And they get introduced into obstacles to where they can use 4 low. And now they'll see different scenarios where they need 4 high versus 4 low. If they have a Rubicon, or even if they have an upgraded Sahara and they have lockers and they've never used it before, they'll be introduced into a scenario at that point to where lockers would be helpful in that situation. We go over when we get back in there about, disconnecting the sway bars, airing down your tires, and, and I'll have them run on a light trail and over an obstacle before we air down their tires to see how it feels with them aired up. And then after they go over the log crawl once, that's when we air them down. So then they see and feel the difference of what it's like to, drive the Jeep aired down versus aired up. And because when I teach, I'm big on, I learn by doing and hands-on. Classroom work is good, but I'm a big hands-on person. And so once I've got my hands on it and I've felt it, then that's when it really clicks and learns for me. So that's how I kind of try to teach. Mm-hmm. And then we take them out to the Confidence Hill, and it goes down a big old steep hill like this, hits into a giant mud hole that they traverse in, and it kind of drops them down into it. And then they got to go through that, and then they go back up another hill. So it teaches them a couple different skills after the log crawl on that. And that usually takes up about most of the morning. And then we'll break for lunchtime, and there's usually food trucks and stuff on site, or they can bring their own food. And then that's always a good time, because everybody in the class gets talking to each other and get to learn about each other, and they're making friends. Because at the end of the day, the class it's more than just a class. I like to create an experience, a fun experience, where you walk away and you're meeting new friends. You have a great time doing it. And now you know some more people that if you ever wanted to go trail ride with, they exchange numbers and they make lifelong friends, and then they're riding together, and they're forming their community. And then go ahead.
No, I said, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's cool.
Totally.
And then the last half of the day, we get back on the rest of those 4,300 acres, and I take them through several trail rides where we hit some amazing scenic overlooks where you can see downtown Atlanta from the top of the mountain. And, that's cool. 80 miles away. Wow. And so, the views are amazing. I've had some pictures up on my page that you can kind of see, and we've taken to 2 or 3 spots like that. And, they see some really cool stuff. There's a lot of old moonshine stills on the site because, North Georgia is kind of moonshine country. It's where NASCAR was formed and all that stuff. And so And so back in the 30s or 20s, whenever Prohibition was around, you still got a lot of old stills back on that property where the revenuers went and hit them with axes and shot them up. So, we show them that. And so that's part of the experience. But then they get to, the last 4 hours of the class, we're really riding the trails. They're going up through mud holes. They're going through the ruts. I give them opportunities if they want to do a little bit of rock crawling, they can. And there's lots of flex spots, and they get their nice flex photos and photos in front of the good views. And so by the time, usually it's funny, by the time the end of the class, toward the end of the class, they all starting to get their confidence, starts from being scared to now it's way up here.
Right.
I start hearing over the radio because we provide communications for everybody. Oh, when are you going to start taking me on something hard? So it's like,
nah.
Okay.
Right.
That's
Ready to go now.
That's like 25% more
stuff up. And so that, and if I gauge a group and everybody's picking it up, I'll take them on some harder stuff. That's the great thing about being on that park. There's anything from easy to wild. And so depending on how well the group's picking it up and what they want to do, that's what I'll gauge on the last part of the trail ride. And I tell everybody, if you get back there, we're going to encourage you to go through the obstacle. But if you just get too nervous and it's just absolutely don't want to do it, there's always bypasses, because I don't want to scare people away from the hobby, and I don't want to break their stuff and break their Jeeps or put them in a situation where they're in trouble, So it's all about the experience, and it's all about how comfortable they are and gaining confidence in themselves and confidence in what their vehicle can do. And that's the whole premise of the class. So
cool. No, that's awesome. That's it sounds like a lot of fun. It certainly makes me want to go out, but it sounds like it's a great park though. I mean,
James, where it's at is in Dahlonega, Georgia.
I was gonna say, James asked, there, but I think you answered.
People drive as far from, as far away from, as New Orleans to take our class. I had somebody a couple weekends ago that drove 9 hours to come take the class, and they just bought a brand new Gladiator. They put the winch on there, and they went and bought one of the pre-done up recovery kits, and he was just excited to learn. And there's really no schools in the area. The closest one was in Arkansas, and it was only a 2 or 3 hour thing. And he saw mine was an all-day experience in the mountains riding around, and so he drove out and took it, and we had an absolute blast.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think
so. Mike, when are they available? Like, what are you running? Like, you're running certain days of the week or certain?
I'll run them on Saturdays, and I'm always available. If somebody wants a one-on-one, depending on my schedule. Like, if you were to call me up and say, "Hey, I want a one-on-one," go spend the day with me. I'll look at my schedule and I'll schedule that around whenever our schedule fits up. But usually I run them every other week on Saturdays. If I do fill my class up on Saturdays and there's a need, I'll open up the Sundays, but usually every other week on Saturdays. And the reason I do that is because most people are off on Saturdays and they can plan for that. Mm-hmm. And if they drive from out of town, it gets, Sunday, if they have to drive home to be at work, or whatever it is. So I usually offer them on Saturdays every other week. So I run at least 2 or 3 times a month, depending on how many days. So
you got like a cap, like for volume, like a capacity for how many
right now is 10 vehicles right now. If I have more requests for that, then I can take it on, because I know enough people around here to where if, say, 15 people wanted to take the class, 15 Jeeps wanted to take the class, I can call up somebody that I know knows what they're doing, that has ridden with me enough from one of the clubs that I ride with, say, hey, you want to make a little bit of money this weekend, or do you want to come help me out? Help me out on the off-road class. So I have the good thing about me is I have a good enough network down here to where I have people that if I needed help, if I wanted to reach out and make a bigger class, like somebody at a club say, hey, I want to bring 20 Jeeps out, for a class, I can find people that will help, because at that point, it's just a matter of having enough spotters and safety people and instructors on site to make sure everybody's guided through and nobody gets left behind, right?
Oh, totally, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
But the average is 10. And James, my website is oraoffroad.com. So,
and they can book on there? Is that?
Yeah, they can book on there, have all my class dates listed there, and they can book straight through there. So
funny. Awesome. I don't see any questions. You guys keep getting questions.
I know. How does Mike?
Mike's the power. He downloaded some fancy news.
No. I think. Are you also on Facebook?
No, I clicked on the comment section. There's a little thing that's private chat.
Oh, see, Paul, we don't even know what the fuck we're doing ever.
I just assumed that no one else could see them but me. I didn't realize that you
No,
could.
I can't. Well, maybe I can't. I just took your word for it. I didn't look after you said I couldn't. I was like,
I assumed you
You
couldn't.
put comments, it all comes up and says it's from Facebook and everything.
oh shit. Well, whatever. Whenever you need my help, you just ask me. I'm not.
All right,
Gonna,
there-
I'm not gonna deep
there
dive
you
in.
go.
Ryan's not here for IT support. Let me tell you, man.
Oh
There
no,
you go.
I'm a no T support. I got no T's
No
for it.
T's. Okay, I did find that question. So let's tackle this question from the gentleman on the text community. Again, I'll have to try and find out what that text community number is. So if
Yeah, we
anyone's
need it on
interested.
Mike. How do we put the number
Yeah,
on the
it's
bottom?
pretty.
Since
Yeah,
you-
right. We'll
since
ask
you
Mike.
know
Yeah.
everything for fuck's sake.
It's
Yeah, no.
let's see here. But it's yeah, it's kind of cool because you get like
So you can
we-
text us if you find it, and we'll lose all the information and maybe get back to you in the next year or two.
that's right, exactly.
Yeah, so it's more like an Easter egg hunt for text messages.
That's right. You
You
never know.
got it, exactly.
Or it
Well,
could be a
then you
surprise.
get
One day we answer you.
you get access to pretty cool things, right? So they're gonna get
I
access
just wish
to
I knew how. I don't know. I just see you guys. That's it. And I see the Jeep in the background.
and that's it. All right, so let's go to the question. Unfortunately, I don't have the gentleman's name, but I will if he's not watching, I will
need
reach
to
back
see.
out with an update. But okay, so it's a bit of a long one. So bear with me. Okay. It says, good morning. I listened to the podcast and first want to say I love listening to you guys. Oh, hey, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's amazing. So the question is, so I have a brand new jail. I'm looking to throw a 2.5 lift in with 35s eventually. I'm looking at a few different lifts and want some input. I really like the TerraFlex ST2 or the, I think it's EY 2.5 RT. Do you have any input on either of these, or is there something else I should be looking at instead? Also, I'm wondering with the smaller lifts, do I need to swap for an adjustable control arm, an adjustable track bar, or are the kits complete enough? I don't want to go crazy with wheeling. Mostly just some weekend stuff, back roads, hunting up in Montana. Just looking for a little bit of insight.
Well, I'd have to dive into the details of the kits, to be honest. Off the top of my head, I don't know what they all come with. But at that height of lift, I wouldn't worry about adjustable control arms too much. I would do the adjustable track bar just so you can dial in that axle center. But yeah, maybe we'll have to just take that information, and I'd have to look at the two kits, to be honest. And it really depends on the more fancy and the more extreme all the fun components are, the more maintenance. So if you want something carefree and you're just going that little height, then I would get something less maintenance, like something with a Clevite bushing instead of a rebuildable like flex joint bushing. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna have to clean it and maintain it, and it's gonna be consumable. It's gonna go, and you're gonna have to change it. And if that's something that's not in your skill set, you're gonna have to pay someone to do that stuff. So that's kind of like the basic, but I'd like to know the two kits.
Russ says he was down with full hydrant. Anyway, sorry, keep going. The two kits. Well, I mean,
see the differences.
but even like, well, let's focus on. So the kits, you're right. I probably should have popped this on you a little bit ahead of time so you could have done some research. But let's talk about, like, generally speaking, 2.5 inch lift. Is there any need to swap the control arms or the track bars?
I do. You're going to relocate the track bar, right? So there's going to be a track bar relocation bracket for the basic entry of that. But I would do an adjustable just so you can move. You got more ability to adjust it because not everything's made exactly 100% the same. So you might need an extra 1/8 of an inch or a 1/4 inch or something just to set the track of the axle underneath the chassis to center it, right? So the vehicle's not dog tracking. So I don't mind adjustable track bars even on the small kits. You know what I mean? Yeah. But chances are, I mean, playing the odds, if you got the kit within a track bar bracket, relocation bracket, front and rear, if necessary, then it probably would work out. Hey, what are you doing? It would probably work out just fine, to be honest. It's not a hyper technical kit. There's a lot of like marketing and funny stuff probably within the literature of those kits, but I'd really love to just take a look at the two like bill of materials for the 2 kits, and then I could really tell you what was worth it. And then even from a price point, like, you know, if anything's worth more based on the available products in the kits, right? Like, if is it worth $500 more for this kit, I'll let you know. But I'd like to visit that. I didn't get a chance to.
Yeah. I'll text you the 2 options, and then we can get a proper answer.
We'll get a good answer for sure. Yeah, that's no problem.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. And there we go. Text podcast is 716-209-3576. There we go. That's the text community.
Amazing.
So jump on board, and we'll spam you at like 3:00 in the morning.
Did you do that, Paul, or Mike?
Yeah, I did that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was all Paul on that one.
I was like, how is he just magic? Eh?
Right.
He's a hacker in a past
He's
life.
reprogrammed the whole thing.
Jesus.
Awesome. Yeah. So there's some cool. So we just did something where we had like an insider discount. We've got a couple products coming out very soon. Some collab stuff we're going to offer to our podcasters first, our text communities first. So jump on that, and like I say, we'll spam you a little bit.
Right, spamtastic.
All right, cool. All right, so Mike, question for you.
Yes, sir.
What is something? I know you've done this a lot. You've done the 101s a number of times. What's something that's like super surprising to you that a noob almost never knows, but you figure that they would know just because they're there?
The thing that surprises me most that noobs come in is the amount of people that don't know how to put it in 4-wheel drive and 4 high and 4 low. Mm-hmm. And I guess the reason that surprises me is not so much from the person buying the Jeep, you know, because if they've never owned a 4-wheel drive vehicle, you know, I don't expect them just to drop in and know exactly what to do. You know, I get a lot of people with Rubicons that come in and they're not sure how to turn on the lockers, or they're not sure how to disconnect the sway bars. And I get that. And I get that if you've never driven a 4-wheel drive, it might be, you know, difficult to figure it out. You know, I guess more than, you know, shifting into 4 low is more than just popping it down like you're in 4 high. And the reason that surprises me is the amount of lack of knowledge on how those vehicles works from the salesman's end.
Totally, yeah.
And I would think that they would, if you're selling the vehicle, you would know it. And the amount of salesmen that I run into that are selling Jeeps that don't even know how to shift it into 4 low themselves to be able to tell the customer.
The blue Jeep. You want a blue Jeep? I got a blue
Jeep. Exactly.
You want that blue car over there?
Yeah. And I guess that's the most surprising thing is the lack of education that comes out of the dealership to the people when they drive off the lot. I know a lot of people when they drive off, especially if they buy a Rubicon, they are going to have the R-Train tires on there. They're going to have all the bells and whistles, and essentially you can go hit a trail right off the lot if you really wanted to. Yeah. And the fact that they don't know how to do those things blows my mind, because if I was selling the Jeep and someone bought a Rubicon from me, before they left the lot, they would know how to put it in 4 low. They would know how to engage their lockers, and they would know how to disconnect their sway bar, you know, because it's all so simple. And a lot of people that don't know those basic things on the newer models that come straight from the dealership, that blows me away, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I think it goes to what Ryan says. Most people that sell Jeeps don't know. They're not Jeep people, right? Like they're car sales people.
Piece of metal, yeah.
And as somebody who sold cars, I'm not judging anyone, but it's just the way it is, right? Like it's just the way this day and age. It's like as fast as you can get them in and get them out. Who cares? You know, you do what you need to do. And Rebel has a good point. I think that's why they have owner's manuals. However, I'm not sure owners. Have you ever opened your owner's manual? That book. I'm not sure.
They have it on the Jeep now. It's like I think it's like a doc on the screen. You can read it.
Yes, right. And the app too. The app's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it goes to Mike's point though. Like some people are visual learners too. Like maybe they read it and they're like too afraid, because that manual shifter in the JL, I have a couple of them, and it's not like intuitive to pull it harder. You know what I mean? You're like, oh fuck, am I going to break my $70,000
No, that's exactly the
shifter?
first time.
You know what I mean?
First time I put my JL in 4-wheel high, it wasn't going, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm gonna snap this thing off before I get it in there.
Right, and there's
I
an
had to
angle
get Tim to
it
come over and take a look because I'm like, it's
See, you
brand
need
new, man. I need help. And
yeah, you need that
just,
authoritative confidence, right? You're like,
Yeah,
am I gonna
yeah,
break
exactly.
this thing? And then they're gonna blame me, and I can't get like they're
Yeah.
not gonna warranty because I ripped the fucking thing off.
Yeah.
So I know there's a time and place for a warrant or a manual. It makes a lot of sense, and I like the idea that it's on the screen. Also, you can read about the Jeep if you have the big screen and all that fun stuff. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Joe says he sells. He works at a Jeep dealerships, and he says this every day.
Yeah, well, this is where you can
great, man.
capitalize, Joe, on your own. You
I
can
was
be
gonna
the-
say,
you
and
can
that's
be
probably
the dude. Just make cars. I'm the Jeep guy. I know all this shit. And then once you start selling enough Jeeps to enough Jeep people, no one's even gonna want to talk. They're gonna be, hey, where's Joe? Let's find Joe. And then they're gonna bring people in, right? And you're just gonna win. You can win so bad all on your own at that dealership in particular.
Yep.
And I wouldn't even cry wolf, man. I think this is a monetary advantage for you to really like level up. You know, totally sidebarred, but I would take that shit all the way to the bank, dude. Like, be there, be the guy. You be the guy. You know, it's that easy.
See, that could be the difference in getting a referral or not. You know, it's just
1,000%.
This is with my wife too, and I've always gone to add more value than what the person's getting. And you know, to spend an extra 10 minutes after they bought the Jeep, you know, when you bring it around to explain that stuff with them, now that's the difference of them saying, okay, that guy sold me a Jeep and I forgot about him, to now they're going to remember your name and they're going to be, you know, that
he does it already.
Informative, and he knows his shit. So when your buddy says, that's a nice Jeep, who did you buy it from? That's the difference of saying, you know, I didn't have a great experience, or go buy it from Ryan. He was awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
I am awesome.
And that's true.
Yeah,
but sidebar, that's how I got. So I'm totally into digital, but I moved into digital from selling cars. I worked at a Chrysler store. I didn't know much about off-roading and Jeeps and what have you. And I became fascinated with the Jeep and the Jeep community while I was there. And I went and I built myself a website, and I was the Jeep guy. And all of a sudden, and you know what? You know where I learned the most from the people buying Jeeps? They would come in and they would tell me everything about Jeeps. Like they knew it all. Or the guys in the service
changed
desk.
quite a bit, man.
Yeah.
Less people know more about it now.
Oh, now, yeah. This was
just more mainstream people are buying Jeeps.
I was gonna say, it just shows how old I am. They were only 2-doors. Like they weren't even the 4-door yet, so we didn't have like it was. It was hardcore. You know, people buying the, like you say, TJs. But yeah, that's what got me into digital. I started making websites for other people. We started specializing across the board and moved into digital. So that was it. So what's it? Oh, Carmen says awesome.
Oh,
awesome. Look at that. Look at that
awesome.
Jeep in that picture right there.
Yeah. We need an updated picture with the tires and wheels we put on the other day.
That's right. All right. So Joe's, what's just going back to Joe real quick. What is this? Is it Joe at Burger? What is that? Burger on Auto? Is that
Bergeron?
Bergeron Auto? Okay,
so.
Apparently I
You're hungry, Paul. You need
did not work for me.
You're hungry. Oh,
or it could be Joe eat burger on Auto.
Yeah, maybe that's, you serve up a restaurant. It's like a drive-through. Where Paul gone? Paul's gone.
He disappeared. He
did the Kazam. Like he did the hand signal and shut us all down. He's coming back. Hey, that was amazing. How'd you do that?
Did you get sick of us, Paul, already?
Yeah. You went Kazam and you're gone.
Like, okay, show's over. Have a nice day.
Perfect. Yeah.
I think the idea of Thursday nights, or we're gonna have to do it earlier in the night or something. I don't know.
You're too deep for that. Paul's had 12 of those things. You believe it?
Maybe I shouldn't bring him some moonshine from Georgia, man. That might make
no. Maybe we should. We just got to watch him like a hawk.
There you go. It's Bergeron Jeep in New Orleans. There you go.
There you go. That's what I thought. Bergeron. Yeah. That's what I said. See, I said it right. Bergeron.
You did. I'm actually pretty impressed. That's pretty good. It's the French side of you.
You might have sold Jeep to the guy who bought the Gladiator that came and took my class not too long ago.
Oh, there you go. Maybe. See? You guys could talk about that. How you could bring people out there. Just take a little field trip.
There you go. Yeah. Always open.
Yeah. All right, cool. So tell us, Mike, what's next for the 101s? What can we keep our eyes open? What's happening?
Next 101 is down the road. I would like to do an intermediate class that I offer to my students that have already taken the 101. I would like to do kind of a wilderness first aid, class for people, because that's
you're gonna heal trees.
Do what?
You're gonna heal trees.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna go heal trees and
perfect.
Patch up frog legs and stuff.
I like it.
But no, kind of going over injuries, real life scenarios and what might happen on the trail. because there's a lot of people that don't know that. And we have a subscription service rolling out real soon. Just picked up an account for, to sell wheels and tires and sell combat off-road parts. And so I have a lot of those things in the works. But as far as the classes go, intermediate, I'd like to roll out a recovery class that focuses on the day for recovery and set people up in various recovery situations to where they might know. Because, some recoveries you have to get real damn creative on. But that would be, a more advanced class, of course. And down the road, my vision, now if we're talking big vision, I think it would be freaking awesome to, get 500-600 acres of myself and build my own proving grounds, and have my own RA Off-Road Adventures proving grounds that, I take people to that I can run the headquarters out of. That'd be awesome.
Nice. Yeah. Nice.
And, overlanding, and I guess, I always called it camping, right? Long-term camping, but
right.
overlanding.
It's not as cool. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the big cool keyword here now. That's huge down here. And so, it's shocking the amount of people that don't really know much about that either. And so I want to do, at least twice a year, do some overlanding camping weekends where I invite all the people who've taken my class out, and even people who hadn't taken my class out, come and hang out. And we set up camp and cook some food and have some good times and hang out with each other. And then we get into some night rides, and because that's my favorite right there is night rides.
Yeah, nice fun.
I want to start, once the community gets built up, because we just started doing these classes in April. But once that community gets built up enough and it gets big enough, then I want to start offering those weekends, and having like full experience weekends. They come out on Friday evening, and we don't leave out until Sunday afternoon, and they're spending the whole day up in North Georgia mountains and riding around on the trails and learning a little bit and doing some cool stuff like that, man. Maybe bring Ryan and Paul down from Canada once Canada lets them out, and have a come spend the weekend with the vendor type thing.
Yeah, no, that'd be fun, man. Do like a whole like sponsored event.
Yeah. So that's
cool.
And that's kind of where I'm at right now. So it's just I'm trying to focus on one thing at a time. I don't want to bite off more than I can chew, and end up getting overwhelmed. So I'm just slowly stacking it up, man.
Awesome.
We own a salon and have 30 employees, and we have a skincare line, and that stuff's doing well. So I'm finally at the point to where it's, I helped her and did that for 17 years. And it was at the point it's like, I'm ready to build something out that I've always wanted to do and that I've always loved doing. And so here I am. So
nice. No, that's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah. I think the 101s are, they're awesome. 101s, 201s. I mean, I don't, regardless of the level of skill, right? You can always learn. And
it's fun. I've been teaching them here for years.
Yeah,
right?
Like, for sure. And then you have the 201s. Do you have any 301s?
Not yet. There hasn't been enough people sign up. It keeps thinning out. You got 101. There's hundreds of people. Smaller amount of people. 201 and 301 is just. I don't even know if I want to do 301.
You and Christina.
Yeah, I'll just break. Isn't it cost me thousands of dollars to do a 301? I'm just breaking shit everywhere.
Right.
Right. I hate breaking stuff.
Yeah,
man.
Nice. All right. Well, Mike, tell everyone where they can find you if they're interested in registering or learning more about the 101s. Where are you at on the interwebs?
Yeah, so on Facebook, I'm RA Off-Road Adventures, and you'll see me on there, because when you type in RA Off-Road Adventures, I have my website on there, raoffroad.com too, and so it's pretty easy to find me. On Instagram, I'm just RA Off-Road. On my website is oraoffroad.com. We have all the bookings there. You can sign up for our newsletter and, stay up to date on what we have going on and what's going to be rolling out and what's happening, different specials we have running, subscriptions and all that stuff. And that's the three places you can find me. It's just, I'm trying to figure out the whole TikTok thing, the whole TikTok videos thing.
So you gonna do dancing?
Yeah, I might put on some American flag Speedos and get out there and dance on the Jeep.
There you go. Hey, that'll be it. You have millions of views.
Someone might watch that. They might not want you to wear that at the 101, but
kind of waiting for you to come down in your, Canadian Speedos.
North American.
That's right.
There you go.
We can have all North America covered. So
nice.
Awesome. Or uncovered, apparently, the way you want to dress.
Well, there you go. Whatever gets used, right?
Exactly. All right, cool. And then yeah, so listen, everyone who stuck around, really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Everyone who dropped in and said hello, appreciate you as well. And if you're listening after the fact, of course we appreciate you. Our audio numbers are increasing, which is amazing. So there's lots of people who listen to us,
Awesome.
in their Jeeps, on their commute, whatever it is, and really appreciate it. Of course, text podcast to 716-209-3576, and you can get in on our text community and get you have some cool we sent out some decals and had some special promotions and what have you running there. Oh my goodness, sorry, excuse me. Apparently I need to leave and continue on with my beverages tonight. But yeah, again, thank you all so much for being here. Hit that like button. If you have a question, leave a comment. You can text us. You can hit us up at podcast@JeepBeef.com. Nancy says, thanks guys. What'd you say? The shit out. Mike for helping educate us off-road Jeepers and in your teachings.
Fan. That's
amazing. Yeah. And it's true. Thank you. No, honestly, I gotta say, there's so many, like the Jeep community as a whole is an amazing community, but there's a few people who are really like make it sometimes difficult for people to learn because they they feel like they don't want to ask these questions. So having a place like your facility to go to where they can build up their confidence and you're really opening it up to a whole new generation of people, right? I think it's awesome. So hats off to you for that, for sure.
Yeah, man. That's good. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's the whole idea is to open it up and get them started on the right foot, and when they're done with it, they're comfortable in themselves, the Jeep, and they can go around the clubs and go on the trails around other people, and they don't feel so nervous.
Nice. James says he's in. He's ready to go. Can't wait to hang out. So right on, James.
Let's go.
Let's do it. All right. Well,
put that lift in first, James.
What's that?
Put that lift in first.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Put the lift.
Let's get some much force on there.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. With that being said, Mike, really great getting to know you and learning more about you. I'm sure we'll have you back. Like I say, we've got I think a few more episodes before Tim is back. So we've got some guest appearances that'll be popping in, and Mike, I'd love to have you back again.
Dude,
we can tackle a topic.
Yeah, maybe, I'd love to come back anytime you guys have me. So
awesome. Okay, great. And speaking of topics, if anyone has an idea for a topic, a versus, we love a good versus. So if you think that leaf springs are better than whatever,
eat some more Tide Pods.
Exactly. Let us know. We'll cover it in an upcoming show, and we'll debate, and we'll see if we can't ruffle some feathers.
Yeah, and Ryan will be giving you guys an IT lesson on the next podcast.
There we go. That's it. Next time on the show, IT lessons.
That's it. That's all I need.
Awesome. All right. So next Thursday, 8:15, 8:30 ish, we'll be doing the next live broadcast. So we hope you all can tune in and join us. And again, thank you, Mike, for being here. And thanks everyone for listening. And we're out until next week.
Good talking to you.
Cool.